afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you and welcome to the East Baton Rouge Council on Age and Board of Directors meeting. Today is Wednesday, September 28, 2022, and it's now 12 noon. We're at the Lotus Center at 1701 Main Street in Baton Rouge. And we will start with our agenda and call this meeting to order. At this time, I'd like to ask our member, Minister Mary Moss, to please come and lead us in the invocation.
She can do it right there.
She can do it right there?
Yeah.
Okay. Will you stand?
God our Father, we thank you again for this day that you have made. We're going to rejoice and be ever so glad in it. We invite your presence even now in this meeting. Allow this meeting to have meaning as well as purpose. To the end that you still get the glory. Thank you for the people that we serve and whom we love. God, we pray now that you would even now continue to bless and hear the prayers, even though we're at this board meeting of our president's granddaughter. Continue to heal and restore her.
Yes, Lord.
This is our prayer today in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. I'd like to ask Ms. Mitchell to lead us in the pledge.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And thank you all for, I'm going to take a point of personal privilege, for the many acts of kindness during the accident of my granddaughter, and she's still in the healing process. Many of you have called, texted, got online and donated money to GoFundMe. Whatever you did, if you just thought of us on that day or during this time, I just want to say thank you. It means a lot to me. And thank you for your continued prayers for Diamond. Roll call.
Chairwoman C. Janice Marcel.
Present.
Chief Carl Dunn. Dr. Derek Cole. Jamie Robinson, present. Ms. Pamela Mitchell.
Present.
Ms. Patricia Williams. Attorney Steve Schilling. Ms. Ingrid Payne.
Present.
Mrs. Kathy Coleman.
Present.
Councilwoman Carolyn Coleman. Sergeant Connie Kirsch. Reverend Dr. Mary Moss.
Present.
Reverend Donald Henry. Attorney Jacqueline Nash. Madam Chair, we have 10 members present with the quorum.
Thank you. At this time, I need a motion to adopt the agenda.
I'll make a motion that we adopt the agenda as printed.
I need a second. It's been moved by Ms. Carl Dunn and second by
Inga.
Ms. Ingrid. Any objections? Seeing none, that motion passes. This time we have public comments. Anyone wishing to make a public comment, this is your time. Seeing none, we'll move on to item number 6, action items. We need certification of the Board of Directors annual meeting and board meeting. The first one is meeting of May 16th, 2022 at 4 o'clock. Thank you, Ms. Mitchell. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you for the second. Anyone opposed? Seeing no opposition, that motion passes. Also, the meeting of May 16th at 6 o'clock p.m. Can I get a motion?
Also
Moved by Ms. Mitchell. And second by, I always call her wrong name,
It's Connie.
Ms. Connie.
Sergeant Connie. Sergeant.
The finance report, we'll go to item B, finance report by Ms. Pratt.
In your packets, you should have 3 financial reports for the period ending June 30, 2022. And as noted on the agenda, these are items that have not been audited yet. by our auditor. We have engaged him to do our audit for this fiscal year ending June 30, 2022. The audit will be completed by December 31st of this year. We've also engaged the same audit firm to do our 403B audit that we have to do annually since we have more than 100 employees. That audit is due October 15th, and we've engaged them as well. They are sending their field out next week to complete that audit. So as soon as those are complete, we will get your copies to you. We noticed in our financial reports that, I don't know what's on top, whether it's a trial balance or balance sheet. There's three of them that are together. What I noticed on the balance sheet, of course, this just lists your asset, liability, and your equity. And our total assets at this point, unaudited, is $8.5 million. That's basically all I have. Oh, from last year, you see our unrestricted net assets. What that is, that's our, a lot of people call it the reserve that you have. So that money from last fiscal year, it was carried over into this fiscal year to help with some of our capital outlay projects.
Are you on the trial balance?
I was on the balance sheet.
She started with
On the balance
The
sheet?
balance sheet, I'm sorry.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
She
Yeah.
started there. She
Okay.
said trial balance.
All right.
I said
Okay.
trial balance?
Yeah.
You did.
My bad, my bad.
All right.
I'm sorry about that, that's balance sheet. Now, the trial balance, all that does is just gives you a listing of all of our expense accounts, revenue and expenses, and it gives you a balance at the end of June on each account. That's listed in our general ledger. All right, and then of the profit and loss by class, we do it by class because the number of projects that we have, programs that we have, we separate them and keep track of them by a class number. And that's why we print our P&L by class. And what you're looking at is a total P&L, which is the summary for all of those classes. At the end of June, unaudited, we had revenue less than transfers. Transfers of $6.5 million, and what that is, we get grants, different grants, and some are designated for certain programs. So we have to transfer the monies from that grant to that particular program in order to complete the operation of that program during the year. But our regular revenue that we actually received in this year, fiscal year, was $13,475,229. That's the $20 million, that's the transfer ins that I made. Our expenses for the same time period total $11,797,470.75. So at June 30th, we were showing a net income unaudited, mind you, of $1.677 million. Okay. Unaudited at June 30th. All right. That's it on the financial reports. Just information. If you have any questions, you can reach me at 922-5921-5193. If you want any specifics about the report. Any questions about them once you had a chance to review.
What's that number again? What's your phone number again?
Area code 225-921-5193. Just for information, yeah, in my report, don't need any action on this, just information. Okay, that completes the financial update on that June 30th, that transactions. Next we have,
Me.
okay,
Capital
Tasha,
outlay.
okay.
Just for information,
So
the
we're on
agency.
item number 2.
We're on item number 2 on the
Capital
finance
outlay.
report, capital outlay. The agency was awarded, out of this, year's state budget from the capital outlay office, $7.1 million, for Lotus Village at the lakes. The author of that, award was Senator, Regina Barrow. She gave us $1 million, from the general fund to do, planning, any excavating, any environmental studies, any borings that we have to do, anything phase 1 and phase 2 of environmental. So she gave us $1 million to start getting the land cleared and cleaned off up in Baker. And then we are in priority 5 under HB1 for the other $7 million. So in totality, it's $8 million, $1 million in one pot, 7.185 in another. So that is the capital outlay award that we received this year. at the last legislative session. And I also, yeah, that's it. So I'll do the rest when we go to construction. Okay, Ms. Bragg?
Construction loan and line of credit.
Yeah, Ms. Bragg will talk about that. You next.
Okay, we're on item number 3, construction loan and line of credit.
What we talk about? You got it. Okay. Okay. We had to get an increase on our line of credit and construction loan. We went to, for construction, we went to Currency Bank. They gave us $1 million to help us finalize the administration building. Currently, due to COVID, lack of folks to work, increase in material, we were about $2 million over budget, right? Which is about 30 to 40% of the project amount, which most entities are facing who started building construction. As you know, steel, our building is not built with wood, it's built with steel. Had a 50% increase on steel. That cost us almost $800,000. Had an increase on equipment, cooking equipment that's made out of stainless steel, right? And then some of our stuff got delayed astronomically, meaning our equipment, our tilt braziers, our pots, our kettles, all of it got delayed out there in the port for another 6 months. So that caused us what you call delay days. And those are days that the contractor has to charge us for not being able to move the project along. So we had to pay delay days. And then we had some change orders for issues like elevator issues and some other things. And so we ended up, in order to finish out this project, we ended up having to take out a line of credit to get that done until our funds come in, and then of course we'll pay that off. And the great thing about it is once we pay it back off, we'll always have the line of credit sitting there in case we need to have another rainy day comes or another emergency comes. So that's what we had to do so that the contractors wouldn't sue us for not paying. That's it.
Anyone has any questions on the construction loan and line of credit?
Oh, right. And Ms. Amar, also, did we have, because I know with EBR, with us building the schools, the budget went up because people were stealing.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna get to that. Yes, yeah, we had over between Lotus Village and the admin building, we got over maybe $150,000 just worth of added security because we had to hire the police. They were vandalizing the buildings. They broke all our big pane glasses with bricks or rocks. They were stealing the contractors' tools and materials. They tried to steal a backhoe. At Lotus Village, they robbed the painting crew and the security guard by gun. They armed robbed them twice, 2 different groups in the daytime. And so we had to call BRPD. So I want to say at Lotus Village, their security increased maybe about $30,000 to $50,000. Over at the admin building, we spent about $50,000 to $80,000 just in having the police 24 hours. And still today, they're still taking stuff. So, it's been difficult. The contractors, their items, of course, they put it on their insurance. But eventually they just came and said, you're going to have to help us, right? Because they busting windows and robbing us, and the folks don't want to come back. The painting crew at Lotus Village never returned. They quit. And so we had to end up getting another painting crew to come out and finish that part. So, yeah, it's been difficult. And, to get some added police, I called, I asked, can you guys make rounds? And, I have the police here, right? So we spend $300,000 a year just keeping 24-hour detail here. And I know that the police, they're short-handed, and so, you have to hire somebody, so that's what we did. Yeah.
Thank you. We're going to move on to item number C, resolutions.
No, 4. You skipped 4.
I skipped? Oh, I skipped 4. Oh, okay. EBR, Council on Aging Contracts. You going to handle that, Ms. Pratt? Okay.
We'll tag
And
team.
that, in this report, she will be identifying the number of GBE contractors.
I'm gonna stand up with you, Ms. Ray.
And I just want to add a small note. Anybody who know me, know I hate construction, mainly because I feel it sucks all your money. But the good thing about our construction is that once it's done and by the time our first millage ends, we'll own everything. We're not long-term leasing or renting, or we don't have loans for long periods of time, I'm trying to say. No mortgages or anything like that. We'll own our stuff, but it's tough. But we'll own it. I hate construction.
You want me to start?
Okay, what I have on your screen is a list of our vendors main vendors, I should say, that the Council on Aging have contracts with. The first one, of course, is our food vendor. That particular vendor is Merchants Food Service, and that contract is about $3.2 million a year. Maybe a little more this year, but 3.2 is the last contract we signed with them. There are only about two, there used to be three, but I think it's just two major food suppliers in the country, and this is one of the two. And they by far have given us better prices and deals than than their competitor. Cisco, yeah. The next is contractors on the new admin building. First is the contractor himself, that's Percy J. Mathern Contractors. That's the contract that's up to $6.3 million at this point. Tasha talked about all the delay costs and what do you call them, change orders that has happened because of, mainly due to COVID and whatever else that happened that caused us to have to spend so much on that building. He is the main contractor for that building. Then we have a landscape company who, in addition to doing the landscaping, they will be doing what they call a bioswale. It's just a big ditch that they dig around, what does it look like to me? A big ditch they dig around the back of the building that captures the water and takes it to where it's supposed to go, so it won't flood, right?
Stormwater drainage.
Yeah, stormwater drainage. That's Yamaha's landscape company that has that contract. The next one is Amco Steel and Fence Company. That's the company that put the fence around there, but they also did work at other buildings because they do very, very good fence work. And we've been very pleased with them. So in addition to their reputation, but it's the quality of work that they do, that we chose them again.
And it's not steel.
Oh, not steel, I'm sorry.
Powder coated.
Whatever.
Powder coated.
It looks nice and it doesn't rust.
It's powder coated aluminum.
Powder coated aluminum.
There you go.
That's why it comes in.
It's cheaper. That's why
Oh, it's cheaper.
Yeah.
She says it's cheaper. But it looks really nice and it makes our properties look good as well. We have one at over at Gushion.
And one here.
And we have the one outside and on the Dumas house too.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the same company that's doing the fencing over there at the main building. Next is Custom Securities, Camera and Access Control Company. I don't know what you say about them. We're gonna have cameras and all kinds of stuff everywhere possible to try and help security in the area that we're in. So, you know, if you want good stuff, you gotta pay for it. You know, reliable, I should say, reliable security. So that's what our contract price is for, custom security, for our camera access and control access. They're gonna have, the place will be fenced in, is gonna have a control fence at the back gate, so when employees drive up, we want to get out of our cars to get in and out to access the property, right?
Right, because we have a group that comes in at 4:30.
Yeah, our kitchen has a different early shift and it's sometimes still dark when they get there, so they'll be able to swipe to get in or access to get in and want to get out of their cars and stuff. Trying to keep our employees safe. Then a design studio. This is the first of our DBE companies. She has a contract to do she did the designs for the building. Becky, what's the design studio's her name, okay? Becky. But this is the first DBE. Becky Walker, thank you. Design studio. So that's our first DBE company that we use for this particular contract. Next is an architect, that's Map Group Designs, and that is a DBE as well. And you can see the amount of those contracts are not very big, but they are the best price that we could get for the people that we needed to do the job.
They were bid.
Yeah, they were bidded out. They were all of these contracts have been bidded out. And then we go to Dumas House. There's a fence company again that we use, Amco Steel. Then custom securities, again, they're still doing what we have, after the fence and the way they're gonna redo the drive-through there, the seniors won't have to get out of their cars either to access their apartment complex, so.
Yeah. We initially, we never had a fence at Dumas House. You all know that Dumas House has been around over 20 years. But lately, crime in that area has risen. There was a shooting, and they shot into 2 or 3 of the apartments. And then somebody drove their vehicle onto the property across the grass. And so the seniors are really, really scared. So what we did was we bulletproofed all the windows at the back of the apartment complex, all the windows. And then we turned around and we dropped in cameras, and then we're gonna gate them in so that anybody that comes there has to be gated. If you have a visitor that's coming to see you, then they have to be buzzed in. And we, and then we, of course, we added police detail for the nighttime. We mean the Volunteers of America, they have the police, I believe. The street behind them is really, really gotten bad in that area, and so we figured it's best to go ahead and add some layers of protection around our seniors.
Okay, and next is the Homewood Aquatic Center. We had to move out of there because the pool was popping out of the ground. It was the original pool that had been installed when the subdivision was preparing to build.
40 years ago.
Yeah, so it was popping out of the ground, so we had to move the seniors out so that we could redo the pool and all of that fixture. And we did contract with Macari, I probably pronounced it wrong, landscaping pools, Macari, okay. And they're almost done. They still have a balance there, but they had to redo the pump house because it didn't meet standards anymore. But once that was done, and that's Master Colors underneath, and Master Colors is another DBE that we use. But he did come in and rebuild the pump house and got everything ready and fixed up for the pool once it's completed.
As of today, he has no balance.
Yeah, no, as of today, we paid him off, so we don't owe him anything. We paid him the balance, I think, this week. And then it brings to Lotus Village. I'm gonna let Tasha talk about that because there's a lot of money.
Lotus Village, as you know, none of this is coming out the council's budget, but we are the owners of the facility. So it's about it's a $23 million contract. The DBE is Matt Group. He won the bid on that project. Cobalt Construction, they're out of New Orleans, and they are the contractors. And right now we have a remaining balance of about $9 million. The first 34 units, applications are out now, and then they should be rented in the first or second week of October. And so Lotus Village, they've had some issues too with overage. We're about $2 point something million over budget with Lotus Village. Most of that is some city stipulations and mandates. We had to add $1.4 million worth of retaining walls around each Lotus Village block. And then once we started doing excavation, they found out that all of the pipe and sewer drainage, the pipes in that area have all crumbled because they have never been changed since that neighborhood was erected back in the 1900s, and they haven't had any major updating. So we ended up spending about another $500,000 or $600,000 on over 800 linear feet or 400 linear feet of concrete piping for the ground. And so that's why we are drastically over budget there. And just, a caveat, they did go back to the bond commission last month and they awarded us $1.5 million additional bond dollars to this project. So now we're not $2 million, we're about maybe $500,000 or $600,000 in the arrears thus far. But as construction goes, one thing I've learned is they work every day something changes, every day something costs extra cost, and a lot of it is because they discovered it after the fact, or in the ground, or in the walls, entity charge just for extra poles, and just everything is a charge. You get nothing for free. Nothing do they do for you for free.
Okay, all right.
That's the report. So you can entertain questions.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Pratt and Ms. Amar for that report. And Before I go to questions, I just want to say that we've also been meeting with Stuart Bishop. We're trying to get additional dollars to help us to get out of that hole that we're in for additional dollars, because she's right. The retainer wall, which I think is ugly,
It is.
it's been required by the city, and that was not a cost that we initially knew that we were going to have to bear. So we're still working, even though these dollars are
There you go.
what she told you, what we've already gotten. We're continuing to work with the capital outlay chair, and that's Mr. Stuart Bishop, and he said he's trying to get us additional dollars to help us with that project. So we've been meeting with him. And at this time, I'll entertain questions. I think I saw Ms. Pam Mitchell's hand.
I wanted to thank you very much for that report. I really feel like I've learned a lot. I
Okay.
appreciate it.
All right.
And I did want to ask, since you addressed it already, security for our seniors when they move in there, since you addressed it, your other problems.
Right, we meaning, of course, as you recall, Lotus Village is a partnership between Gulf Coast Housing and us. And so what we intend on doing is having, some 24-hour security in, particularly in the beginning, until we can try to curb the crime in that area. We have, I have a meeting coming up with, I think, the chief of police, is it the chief? Deputy chief, and we are in talks about putting a substation back there. Since we're bringing that property, since we're bringing it back, we're bringing back a disinvested part of the community. And so we're having a meeting with them here shortly about maybe putting a substation there. We've also met with the mayor's office about moving the transient homeless population, because they are also back there in the woods on the canal. We've been talking to the property owners back there that own the property or own big swaths of property back there about, one, let's get it cut back, clean up, so you can't hide if there's nowhere, if you have a clean and clear area. I mean, at least it'll look better, so the seniors could be able to walk around. So Councilman Coleman helped me with the property owners back there. They have cut, they picked up the dump trash, and so we're trying to get it all ready, so when the seniors start coming week after next, they could feel secure. Because the worst thing that I would want to do is just drop the seniors in the middle of a hornet's nest, right? Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you. I think I saw Mr. Jamie Robinson had a question.
Yes. So I know you said, and I think it's a great idea to put the bulletproof windows over there off of at Duman's house, because actually myself and the chair was talking about just recently how the 4-year-old was sleeping in his bed and was shot by a stray bullet. Is that something that we're going to consider doing at the Lotus Village as well? Because if it is, I think that's something we should do.
We hadn't discussed it yet, but it's on the table. Most definitely it's on the table. Now the bulletproofing is, because after they started busting the windows out the main building, we bulletproofed it, and it's expensive. I don't want to say it cost us $50,000-$60,000 to bulletproof, but they came back and threw something and the glass didn't shatter. So it not only is it bulletproof, but it stops the glass from shattering. So yeah, we're gonna look into that. We'll discuss it with our partners and see. What happens is when I bring these grandiose ideas, they want me to pay for it, right? And so if it happens, it'll probably be closer to the beginning of the year. But I think with the police presence, with the vehicles parked on the property 24 hours, I think that would be a big help. Since we've had them back there making rounds, I mean, the guy just drives around. The whole time we've had, less issues. We haven't had any issues since we dropped the police in the midst. Any more questions?
Thank you. You good? Okay. I called you representative. I'm giving you a promotion.
Promote her.
I don't know if that's a promotion or a demotion, so I'll take that back. Item number C, resolutions. DOTD authorizing resolution. Is that Mr. Mr. Cole's not here?
Right. James is gonna do the resolution. This resolution, just for explanation, we don't have to read all of this, James, just maybe the last page. But this resolution is, the Department of Transportation had another bus that they had given to another entity who I guess wasn't using it according to the rules and regulations. So they kind of took it from them and they decided they wanted to give it to us. So they transferred the bus to us, no charge, got another bus. And so resolution is just authorizing us to receive it.
The undersigned duly qualified and acting board chairman of the East Baton Rouge Parish Council on Aging certifies that the foregoing is true and a copy of a resolution adopted at a legally convened meeting of the East Baton Rouge Parish Council on Aging Board of Directors held on September 28, 2022. The applicant has an official seal impressed here. It will be signed by the recording secretary, Dr. Cole, and dated for today.
I need a motion to accept that resolution.
I make a motion.
It's been
I'll
moved by,
second that motion.
it's been moved by Reverend Moss and second by Carl Dunn, the Olympic swimmer, that we accept the resolution for DOTD authorizing them to give us a vehicle. Item number B.
The second resolution is for, in the last state's legislative budget, we also received another $50,000 from Senator Barrow to take the seniors on cultural outings or on a, I don't want to just say on trips, cultural museums and recreation. So this resolution is authorizing us to receive the $50,000 from Act 170.
Any questions? Seeing none. Oh, go ahead and read it, Mr. Robinson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. State of Louisiana, Parish of East Baton Rouge Board resolution to adopt this instrument resolution authorizing execution of Act 170 CEA on the 28th day of September 2022 at a meeting of the Board of Directors of the East Baton Rouge Parish Council on Aging Incorporated, a corporation held in the city of Baton Rouge, state of Louisiana, with the quorum of the directors present. The following business was conducted. It was duly moved and seconded that the following resolution be adopted. Be it resolved that the Board of Directors of the above-named corporation does hereby accept authorizing execution of Act 170 CEA. The above resolution was passed by a majority of those present and voting in accordance to the bylaws and articles of incorporation. I certify that the above and foregoing constitutes a true and correct copy of a part of the minutes of the meeting of the Board of Directors held on the 28th day of September 22, signed by Dr. Derek Cole, Board Secretary.
Thank you. Can I get a motion?
I'll make the motion.
It's been moved by Ms. Kathy Coleman and second by Councilwoman Carolyn Coleman that we accept the resolution. Any questions? Anyone opposed? Seeing no one, that motion passes. At this time, we're gonna pause so that you can get your food and then we'll come back to item D. We'll resume the meeting by going to item D. And first is A, board member resignation. Senior representative was Ms. Patricia Williams. I want to thank her for her service. She's been an awesome board member. And we have an application. So first, we have to have a motion
to accept the
to accept her resignation. Can I get a motion? Ms. Carolyn Coleman, it's been moved. Second by Ms. Pam Mitchell. Anyone opposed? Seeing no opposition, that motion passes. But I do want to say we want to thank Ms. Patricia Williams for her service.
She's very ill.
She's not well, she's ill, and so she can no longer come, but she was very active in this organization, so let's keep her lifted up in prayer.
Yeah.
And item B, the senior representative replacing Ms. Williams will be Ms. Mary Washington. Ms. Mary Washington is the longest serving member on the advisory board, and she's a retired special ed educator. She also attends Charles R. Kelly Senior Center, and she loves to exercise. I probably need to get with Ms. Washington so she can motivate me to exercise. But at this time, I'd like to have a motion to accept Ms. Mary Washington as a replacement for the senior representative of taking the place of Ms. Patricia Williams. Can I get a motion? It's been moved by Councilwoman Carolyn Coleman,
I second it.
second by the Olympic swimmer, Mr. Carlton. Anyone opposed? Seeing no opposition, that motion carries. Now we'll have the CEO report by none other than Tasha Clark, Amar.
Before we get to my report, one other thing I did want to mention, there is one remaining board seat available. So we, if you have potential candidates or resumes, send them to either me or Rep. Marcel, and I'll forward it to Rep. Marcel so that we can get this position filled at the next board meeting. If you recall, we had, once we rejected the last candidate, whose position, what was his name? Mr. Luke, I think. We rejected his resume, that was presented by the committee, the board development committee. So now we have to vet and get some additional resumes. We do have a couple from some time before. And I'm gonna send those to Rep. Marcel, but if you do have somebody you think is interested, then you can send that as well. I'm gonna show you all a quick slideshow for part of my presentation. You can tell True to go ahead, Ms. D. And we're gonna talk about, it's already up, okay. Here is just, we're gonna show a video. That's out. I know we can have a party in here. Oh, she did. That's how the building is looking on the inside now. And I'll be ready to give you all tours in just a little bit. We got most of the furniture delivered. It's gonna be our last board meeting here. We're gonna be in our new, that's the kitchen. Oh, that's the kitchen. That's the freezers. We can feed the parish actually. That's all the cooking equipment. That oven is a big rotisserie oven. We can put about 500 pieces of chicken in at one time. So the kitchen will not, this is the second floor. They won't have to work so hard. The cubes are in. That's most meeting space. Files. So we're about 2 weeks out. That's true. Trudy's on at the scene every day. That's the upstairs executive suites. The desks are in. File cabinets. It's another side of the building. That's the break room. We're gonna have a snack machine and a Coke machine. More offices. There it is. So we're about 95% complete, finally. All the furniture has been delivered here, I'm telling you. We on landscaping and irrigation right now. And then hopefully in the next week or two, we can move all our folk in. And we can get started. So that's just a quick Lotus. And I think she has another one. Is she gonna play the other one back to back? That's Lotus. And we're gonna show you guys Lotus Village too. So you can see it. Okay. This one not gonna be so fast. The Edge did that other one. Those guys back there, they put that together for us. Okay, this is Lotus Village, but if you leave here today, you should ride back there. It's amazing. These are cottages. Yeah. You can park a bike now. I don't know what city you're gonna have no bike, but the city made us put those there. They make you put them everywhere. I don't know about this. The mailboxes are in. Landscaping is in. These are some of the units. Yeah, right now they're painting the fence. We got nice colors too. It's really colorful back there. And this is inside the unit. Got a long kitchen. We got granite, black and wood, and open shelves in some spaces. There's a front porch. We got walkways and walking paths. It's a great set. okay, that's in the room. Big closet. You got washer and dryer on pedestals, new kind. Front loaders, you don't have to reach down, no bending over. And so these are also gonna have mobile, what do you call it, islands that's on wheels where that you can sit at. Those are getting installed this week. That's gonna be the interior common area where they can go and gather. Your 360 toilet handicap, the bars are in. You got a seat in the, it's a bench in the shower. There you go, 2 hands, you can spray, you can take it and spray places. And then in the back, which you really can't see, there are screened porches to sit out in the back too. Yeah. So the first 34 units are up for rent right now. Okay, True, thanks. And if you guys want, we can schedule a tour for you to see both properties when you get ready, and then we'll get ready. Once we start renting, taking applications for LV2, we'll have a big groundbreaking and ribbon cutting and all of that. So of course you'll all be there for that. So just in my report, we kind of talked about a lot of it. Construction delays and overages. I spoke about that in Ms. Pratt's section, so I'm not going to go back over that. Lotus Village, I'm going to get Janice to come up. Because one thing I want to do is give you all information. Because you got, some of you have been calling me and folks been calling y'all about how the application process is working. If you want to get some applications for some folks, we got some applications for you that you can take with you, right, to hand out. Because I know if you're anything like me, you've been inundated with folks that want to get in this facility. So you guys remember Janice, our housing director.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
We're actually passing on to you applications.
Pull it up,
can,
Janice. Yeah, pull the mic up.
applications that you can make copies of for those persons who've been asking you for applications. And I'm asking you, if you have any questions, to just give us a call, and we'll be happy to answer your questions and even assist those persons who might need assistance. There are many things that we're asking our seniors to provide with them, and on that application sheet you'll see a list of the requirements. Now, one of the things I want to say, once they submit an application is not considered completed until they've submitted all of their documentation. So they will need the things such as their driver's license or some form of identification. Of course, you know this is a senior property that they will be eligible based on their income and age. So we need proof of age and proof of income. And if they've been married, we will need some indication. If they've been divorced, they will need divorce papers. Well, you'll see the list. They'll have all of those things. So as you speak with them, let them know that it's imperative that they provide all of the information that we're requesting from them, because an application will not be considered completed. But we will be happy to assist them in any way possible. We've actually had 2 application sessions where the staff, housing staff along with Jonathan's staff, INA, provided assistance. It took us a little longer because one of the things we realized with our seniors, they need the attention. So we spent time just trying to explain to them why we're asking certain things, and some people thought because they lost their documentation, they didn't need it. They said, I just don't have it, so what? I'm learning a lot about these, about the attitudes and what our seniors.
You didn't say attitudes. Did you say attitudes about my seniors?
Oh, my. They have no filters. Just keep living. That's right. So you've got to have the patience of Job, and we do have that in working with the seniors. So we will continue to work with our seniors.
Can you tell her the different types of units we have?
Yes.
Some for visual and handicap.
Yes, we have 116 units, as Ms. Amor mentioned. Within those 116 units, we have 26 units that are for those persons with disabilities, those with sight impairments, and of course those with hearing impairments. as well. And we're asking those persons, when you talk with them about the application, to let us know if they are physically challenged so that we could make sure that they are appropriately assigned to the units, because we do have those units that are considered handicap accessible, and we want to make sure they get into the right units. And also, as Chairperson Denise LaSalle mentioned about the retaining wall, because of the height of those retaining walls, you know, it means that the building is a lot higher.
Right.
So we want to make sure that we could place our seniors in areas not necessarily in the highest areas.
Right.
We want to, you know, because it will take some energy and strength to get up some of those areas. That's just a design and building. There's nothing more we can do about it, but we can be strategic in terms of placing our seniors where they can be comfortable and safe in terms of moving in and out of those buildings. We have units that are single units, so we have the duplex, and we have quads. And we have those units. One of the things, it's just a lovely place. We received all of our appliances this weekend, so we're very happy about that. And Ms. Avon pointed out the things in terms of the washers and dryers. Everything for seniors who are aging in place. They are actually in those units, so they have more lighting,
Right.
easily accessible items for them, so they won't reach as high. They could just sit in their wheelchairs if that's required, and to open up the wash and dry, or even wash their dishes.
And the blinking lights.
And the blinking lights for those persons who are hearing impaired.
Yeah.
And for those persons also who are hearing impaired, we have the bed shakers.
Right.
So when the bell rings, if they're in bed, it shakes the bed to let them know that someone is ringing the bell. So it's just absolutely fantastic. The colors are beautiful, and the trim of the units are beautiful as well, because we didn't want to have for those persons who are visually impaired, just one single color. So it was just always nice to have a contrast for them, because it breaks that monotonous of the colors.
Okay.
Everything that Ms. Raymore
Thank
should
you.
think of.
Excited.
Thank you so much.
I'm sorry, don't ask me. She asked, okay, you all know where I work, I'm here, just call me.
I do just have one question. This has come up over and over again, and the people that have been contacting me, especially some of the board chair, they think I can just say, you get one, but I can't. So what is the process by which we're going to use it? Is it going to be a lottery system to determine, or is it on the first come, first served basis? Or what is that process going to look like in terms of who gets in and who doesn't? Because you know we're going to have way more applications than we have spaces.
Right.
So speak to that.
Thank you. It's first come, first served basis. Now, as I mentioned, you do not get on the list unless we've got all your documentation. And I can tell you at this point, all of the persons we've provided applications to, I may have 25 or 30 applicants who have completed everything.
I mean, we got before more.
So we've got to
Don't you gotta-
continue working and making sure
it's only 16,
that
that's
all of the information is required. These are low-income housing tax credits, so we don't have the luxury of just letting folk in and telling them, give it to us later, but we're going to let you in. We can't do that. We cannot do that. That was short enough?
Thank you for that, yes, thank you for that clarification. I really
Got a question
appreciate
right
that.
here.
One question?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. In that this is the first time that I've experienced sitting where I'm sitting and hearing from what you're offering. Are there any words of caution for us as board members as to how we handle our interaction?
That's a very good question. Yes, and even for me, if you notice, I'm out of the process because they were all pulling on me. People were calling for their mothers, and so I left it up to Gulf Coast, which is our partners who really do this thing, and Janice, who has all the experience. And what I have been doing is just directing people to them. I can't commit to you. I don't know if we have a unit, and then all units are not the same. So one question I get asked all the time: well, how much is it? Well, I can't tell you that. It's determined on your income, right? Because these are tax credit apartments, which are a little different than regular apartments. So there's a sliding scale, you know, you might pay 30%, 50%, 80, 60, 80, and then we have a couple of them where it doesn't even matter. If you have the right designation, like a Medicaid waiver, then you only pay but $150, I think. So it just depends on the person. So what I've been doing is just giving them to the professionals, letting them handle it. And if you have some folks, you can give them the application and then tell them to come in and meet with Ms. Janice, because they really been walking the seniors through filling this stuff out, going online. You know, seniors don't have check stubs, but they can go and get their Medicare statements or their Medicaid statement or their Social Security statement. So we've been helping them gather those things. And then I really have been kind of discouraging some seniors because, yes, this is new and brand new and pretty, but that don't mean you leave your house that's paid for and walk off from it, right? Because that's an asset, right? And you have to make plans for that. And you can't go then you just leave it and I'm going to give it to my son. Well, these people don't want something in writing, right? And so we've been kind of telling them, before you do all of that, you need to go see somebody, you know, talk to somebody.
One of the things that you do not want to do is tell them to call me. Just don't tell them to call my office. That's a no-no. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, and then lastly, we're just gonna go over, just some coming up activities so that you all will know. Oh, you have a question? Go
You
ahead.
get
Please.
additional bonds.
Tell me, what are the requirements, like the people who are moving in, how many's in a facility, and actually, like us, we've got a lot of grandparents calling saying, well, if they're eligible with their grandchildren.
Okay, no, so this property is solely for individual or married seniors, and not for grandchildren, but I can say, because LHC is they're really pleased with the project, how it looks. They've already asked us to go ahead and submit for a phase 2, and get some of the other blighted property back there and do a phase 2, which they want to gear towards grandparents raising grandchildren or grandchildren with grandparents with other family members living with them. So we're gonna work on a phase 2, actually, and that comes up to my next thing about an additional bond money. Because we have resolution where we can immediately go into contracts, then it doesn't take long for people to say, okay, we'll give you a couple of extra $1 million and start working on phase 2, start acquiring your property for phase 2. So we're looking to do a phase 2. And then the project in Baker that Senator Barrow sent us the $8 million for, that is a project for intergenerational living. It'll be grandparents raising grandchildren or in some intergenerational type living. And those will be garden homes instead of little duplexes, individual, small garden homes, 1 or 2 bedroom, maybe 3 bedroom garden home. We're in the process of doing the design work right now. Okay, any more questions on that? Yes.
I just had a comment.
Uh-huh.
I know Ms. Janice addressed the, some of our sensational seniors' attitudes, but I just want to say, I came here Thursday to help out, and I saw the way the staff interacted, her staff and she, and I had a conversation with Ms. Amar, and we got Ms. Janice on the phone, and Ms. Janice was so nice, but everybody's nice to their boss. But she was, and her staff as well, genuinely nice to the seniors, helping them through that process. So I commend you, Ms. Janice, and I know all of us do, and your staff, and keep up the good work.
Kudos. Yeah. Well, all this stuff is new, and the seniors get frustrated. They're just frustrated because they hadn't had to do all of this before. For instance, go back and find your birth certificate. Well, what have you needed a birth certificate for at 70 years old? So some of that stuff, is accurate. Yeah, and some of them don't have birth certificates. You're absolutely right. Did you have a question, Councilwoman? You had a question? No? Oh, okay. All right. Then just a couple of things we'll go over the rest of the year activities. What's happening now should be in your packet. But in October we're having a booster and flu clinic, and then we're having on Pink Out Day on what day is it? The 21st or the 19th? We're gonna get you guys the date. But it's gonna be Care South Breast Cancer Awareness Day. We're gonna have the bus out here, and they're gonna do some mammogram check-in, and then we're gonna do some fitness with them. And so it's for fitness for the boobs, and it's just not girl boobs; it's all boobs. right? Part 2, and so we're gonna do that. And then we're gonna have, we're getting engaged and we're about to sign a CEA with the Louisiana Department of Health because they want us to do LDH Health Week in all the facilities. And so we'll talk about monkeypox, and we're gonna talk about the COVID, and we're gonna talk about long haulers issues. And so we're gonna have the LDH Week with the Louisiana Department of Health. And then we're gonna have at several of the centers, Care South Medical and Dental Health Week. They're gonna do free dental work, dental cleanings, check your dentures, fill in their fill-ins. They're gonna do, and if they have to do extractions, they have new mobile dental units, and they're gonna be going to the different senior centers. And so we're gonna start getting a schedule together, and they're gonna come and spend a week at each site and just take care of seniors' teeth. And if they need to get dentures, then they'll call them in and help them get their dentures, get some new dentures. And so I think how great that is for our seniors, because if any aspect of health that they negate, it's your teeth, you know. All right, so we'll have Care South Medical and Dental Health. And then Thanksgiving dinner. So I've been having a lot of calls and talks about folks who want to come in and volunteer. You know, everybody gets real warm around the holidays with themselves. When, you know, even though life is 365, or something about Thanksgiving and Christmas, want everybody to come out, and then everybody won't feel good about themselves, so they can post it on Facebook. But what we're going to do is, you know, because since we do service, we serve every day. And service is supposed to be an everyday thing. That's just a holiday season thing. But so we're going to have Thanksgiving dinner at each of our centers. The seniors liked that better than coming, being bussed down to the River Center, all getting together. They just like fellowshipping with their own group, right? And so we're going to have Thanksgiving on the 15th at every senior center. The kitchen staff is going to make gumbo and all the trimmings and turkey and dressing. Not turkey, they too high. I think we're going to do roast this year. Turkeys cost more than roast times 3. So, and we're going to do the full course. We're going to take the linen tablecloths and all the nice place settings to each site. And so what you could do as board members, if you serve in an area, go to the senior center that you represent, the area you represent. Like, of course, Councilman Coleman is going to be at the Butler Center, the Mighty Butler Center, and then Ms. Pam is going to do it in Central. And, of course, Chief and the 2 police going to go over here to Baker, right? And then Reverend Moss going to come over here at this Lotus Center, right? Oh, you're going to Ms. Coleman? All right, you can go with Ms. Coleman. And then, you know, of course, whatever. You all just pick a senior center that you want to go to. You can help with volunteering, getting the food out and getting them served. Everybody gonna have music, and we're gonna dance, and we're gonna have a good time in our silos. For Baker, Councilwoman Banks normally does a Thanksgiving dinner. She's calling me now. She's gonna partner with us because we're gonna provide the food, and she's gonna do it at Jules J. Newman. So some of the centers in the north are gonna go to her center and go to one big place, because if they choose to. I think Baker probably gonna stay at their own house, but I don't know what everybody's gonna do. But that's what we're gonna do for Thanksgiving. And then Christmas, and for the Meals on Wheels clients who are homebound, we of course take them a meal, and we're gonna deliver it to their house. And I think we did it hot last year. We'll probably do it hot this year. And we'll deliver them hot food for the once in the year. And then we're gonna do for Christmas, we always just send the seniors all a little gift, a care bag, and that's it. We're gonna phase this year out on the low, because next year we're gonna party all year next year, so we gotta get ready. Because starting in January is our 50-year anniversary. Y'all remember we turned 50. So we'll be getting with you all to get your ideas. But the seniors wanna have a party, not just the senior prom, they wanna have a party where all of y'all, everybody comes, no matter the age, and we just celebrate all together at one place. That's what they want to do. They don't want to just do seniors. They want to dance with Jamie. So, so we're gonna
It's all the time, all year round.
So we're gonna send you out the information on that. And if you have any ideas or suggestions on how we can celebrate 50 years of service, go ahead and let us know. That's it for me.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Any questions? Okay, Ms. Mitchell.
I'm not sure I heard correctly. We're having roast beef and not turkey.
I just said that I'm working on the food vendor to get the prices down.
That
But
was an issue last year.
What, the roast beef? They didn't like the roast
They
beef?
didn't like the roast beef, they wanted turkey.
They wanted turkey. Well, we're gonna do turkey. We're gonna try to do turkey. I'm talking to the food vendors, but the turkey is like $40 or $50 a piece, you know, so we're working on it. Yeah.
All right. Any other questions? If not, I just want to say thank you to the staff of the Council on Aging and to our CEO. I think we owe them a round of applause for all of this work that they're doing at one time. At one time. It's a lot. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
And I want to thank them for coming out to the Beat the Heat Hurricane
That's right.
Preparedness on last Saturday. If you missed it, you missed a treat. We did it at the Old Sam's Club, and we were able to pass out 400 and some odd fans to our seniors, water, a whole plethora of things. But also at that event, and our CEO is going to be meeting with this young man who we're giving out free blood pressure machines. You know how important that is to our seniors?
Yeah.
Free blood pressure machines. So we're gonna see more of that. I think it's Healthy Stats or
Yeah.
something. But they're gonna get with Ms. Amar, and we'll be seeing that we get that to all of our seniors that are in our database. And so if we don't have anything else, any other unfinished business? Any new business? Seeing none, can I get a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion.
Jamie make a motion to adjourn, Jamie Robinson, and a second by Councilwoman Carolyn Coleman. Thank you all for being here today.
The food was delicious.
Thank you.